Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
California Condor. The California Condor, Gymnogyps californianus, is a majestic endeconic bird species native to the southwestern United States, particularly in California, Arizona, Utah, and Nevada. The California condor is an incredible bird species that continues to fascinate and inspire people. Weight between 15 to 31 pounds, 7 to 14 kilograms. Wingspan, up to 10 feet, 3 meters, making it one of the largest wingspans among North American birds. Appearance. Adults have black feathers with striking white patches under their wings and bald orange-pink heads. California condors are typically found in rocky forested regions, including the coastal mountains of California, e.g. Big Sur and Pinnacles National Park, parts of Arizona and Utah, particularly around the Grand Canyon and Zion National Park. Scavengers. They feed exclusively on carrion, dead animals, such as deer, cattle, or marine mammals. Social birds, they often feed and roost in groups. The California condor is a critically endangered species, but it has made a significant comeback thanks to intensive conservation efforts. In the 1980s, the population had dwindled to just 27 individuals. A controversial decision was made to capture all wild condors to initiate a captive breeding program. Breeding programs in zoos like the San Diego Zoo and Los Angeles Zoo have successfully reintroduced condors into the wild. Today, there are over 500 condors, with more than half living in the wild. Efforts continue through 1. Public awareness campaigns, 2. Legislation to reduce lead ammunition use in condor habitats, 3. Monitoring and veterinary care for wild populations. Kirtland's warbler. The Kirtland's warbler, Setophaga kirtlandi, is a rare and fascinating bird species found primarily in the United States. Known for its restricted habitat, preferences, and conservation success story. The Kirtland's warbler is one of the rarest songbirds in North America. Appearance: a medium-sized warbler with a bluish-gray back, black streaks, and a bright yellow breast and belly. It has a distinctive black mask around its eyes and white undertail coverts. Size about 5.5 inches, 14 centimeters in length. Song: males sing a loud and distinctive series of buzzy notes, which is often used to locate them in the field. Wintering grounds: wasp spends winters in the Bahamas, favoring scrub habitats. Breeding range: primarily found in young jack pine forests of northern Michigan, with smaller populations in Wisconsin and Ontario. Breeding: nests are built on the ground under young jack pines that are 5 to 20 years old, relying on the structure and cover these trees provide. Diet: primarily insectivorous, feeding on a variety of insects and spiders. They may also consume some berries. Threats: the species became endangered due to habitat loss, especially the decline of young jack pine forests caused by fire suppression and nest parasitism by brown-headed cowbirds. Conservation efforts: intensive habitat management, including controlled burns and cowbird control programs, have been instrumental in its recovery. Status: once critically endangered, the Kirtland's warbler population has significantly rebounded, leading to its removal from the U.S. Endangered Species List in 2019. This bird is named after Jared Potter Kirtland, an Ohio naturalist and physician, although he never actually saw the bird himself. Ivory-billed woodpecker, possibly extinct. The ivory-billed woodpecker, Campephalus principalis, is a legendary bird native to the southeastern United States and parts of Cuba. It is one of the largest woodpecker species in the world, with a striking black and white plumage, a prominent ivory-colored bill, and a distinctive double-knock drumming sound. Size: 18 to 21 inches, 46 to 53 centimeters in length, with a wingspan of about 30 inches, 76 centimeters. Weight: the ivory-billed woodpecker weighed approximately 450 to 570 grams, about 1 pound, 1 to 1.25 pounds, making it one of the largest woodpeckers in the world. Habitat: prefers large mature forests, particularly swampy areas with abundant dead or decaying trees, which harbor their primary food source. Wood-boring beetle larvae. Behavior: known for its powerful drumming and flight pattern. It excavates large cavities in trees for nesting and foraging. The ivory-billed woodpecker's breeding season generally occurred in late winter to early spring, February to May in the southeastern U.S. Eggs in incubation. Clutch size, typically the female laid 1 to 4 eggs, though 2 to 3 was more common. Eggs, smooth, white, and unmarked, like those of other woodpecker species. Incubation. Both parents likely took turns incubating the eggs, with the incubation period lasting around 14 to 18 days. Conservation status. The ivory-billed woodpecker has long been considered critically endangered or possibly extinct due to habitat destruction and hunting. Its last widely accepted sightings in the U.S. date back to the mid-20th century, although sporadic reports and inconclusive evidence of its presence have persisted into the 21st century. Recent developments. There have been several unconfirmed sightings and recordings in recent decades, sparking debates among ornithologists and conservationists. Despite extensive searches, definitive proof of its existence, such as clear photographs or videos, remains elusive. Legacy and symbolism. The ivory-billed woodpecker has become a symbol of lost wilderness and the urgent need for conservation. Its possible extinction serves as a reminder of the consequences of habitat destruction and human impact on biodiversity. Gunnison sage grouse. The Gunnison sage grouse, Central Circus minimus, is a rare and distinct species of sage grouse found in the western United States, specifically in southwestern Colorado and southeastern Utah. Known for its elaborate mating displays, this bird is smaller and darker than the greater sage grouse, with males exhibiting more prominent white tail feathers and unique plumage patterns. Size smaller than the greater sage grouse, measuring about 12 to 15 inches in length. Plumage. Males have intricate feather patterns, a black belly, and distinct white spots on their tails. Behavior. Famous for their courtship rituals, males perform elaborate dances on traditional breeding grounds, called leks, to attract females. Habitat. The Gunnison sage grouse depends on sagebrush ecosystems for food, shelter, and breeding. Sagebrush leaves are their primary food source, particularly in winter. These habitats are increasingly threatened by human activities, invasive species, and climate change. During the breeding season, Gunnison sage grouse males and females interact in unique and visually striking ways, particularly at leks, traditional mating grounds. The male and female Gunnison sage grouse differ significantly in appearance and behavior. Male Gunnison sage grouse appearance: boldly marked with a black belly, fan-shaped tail with distinct white spots on the tips. Elaborate plumage during the mating season, with white chest feathers framing 2 bright yellow air sacs. Male Gunnison sage grouse behavior: known for their dramatic mating displays on leks, inflate their air sacs to produce unique popping sounds and perform a strutting dance to attract females. Female Gunnison sage grouse size: smaller and more slender than males. Appearance: mottled brown, gray, and white plumage that blends well with the sagebrush, providing excellent camouflage. Lacks the striking black belly and air sacs of the male. Female Gunnison sage grouse behavior: focused on nesting and raising chicks, typically more secretive and less conspicuous than males. Interesting facts: mating displays. Males inflate bright yellow air sacs on their chests and produce unique popping sounds during their dances. Range: the species is restricted to a fraction of its historical range, making it highly vulnerable to extinction. Ecological importance: as a sagebrush obligate species, it is a vital indicator of the health of sagebrush ecosystems. Whooping crane. The whooping crane, Grus americana, is a majestic and iconic bird, renowned for its striking white plumage, impressive height, and the resonant whooping call from which it takes its name. Standing nearly 5 feet tall with a wingspan of over 7 feet, it is the tallest bird in North America and one of the rarest. These cranes inhabit wetlands and marshes, relying on such habitats for nesting, foraging, and survival. Height: 5 to 5.5 feet, 1.5 to 1.7 meters. Tall, making it one of the tallest birds in North America. Wingspan: about 7.5 feet, 2.3 meters wide. Weight ranges from 14 to 16 pounds, 6.4 to 7.3 kilograms. Appearance: they are strikingly large birds, standing about 5 feet tall, with a wingspan of up to 7.5 feet. They are mostly white with black wingtips visible in flight, a reddish crown, and a long pointed bill. Breeding grounds. Historically, they bred in wetlands across North America. Today, their main natural breeding ground is in Wood Buffalo National Park in Canada. The breeding season for whooping cranes typically begins in late April or early May and lasts through the summer. During this time, they exhibit fascinating behaviors and establish their nesting grounds. Wintering areas. They migrate to the Texas Gulf Coast, specifically the Aransas National Wildlife Refuge. Migration. They undertake long migrations between their breeding and wintering areas. Behavior and diet. Diet. Omnivorous, feeding on aquatic plants, insects, crustaceans, and small vertebrates. Social structure. They are monogamous and form lifelong pair bonds. Both parents care for their young. Conservation status. Population. Their numbers plummeted to just 21 individuals in the 1940s due to habitat loss and hunting. Through intensive conservation efforts, the population has increased to over 800 birds, including both wild and captive individuals. Conservation status efforts. Conservation strategies include habitat protection, captive breeding, and reintroduction programs. Innovative measures like using ultralight aircraft to teach migration routes to young cranes have been particularly effective. Bachman's warbler, critically endangered or extinct. Bachman's warbler, Vermivora bachmani, was a small, brightly colored bird historically found in the southeastern United States and parts of Cuba. It was last definitively observed in the mid-20th century, and it is currently listed as critically endangered, with many experts fearing it may be extinct. Male Bachman's warbler. Plumage. Bright yellow throat, breast, and belly. Black cap on the head, which contrasted sharply with the yellow and gray tones. Grayish back and wings with faint olive tones. A small black patch below the throat, sometimes called a bib. Male Bachman's warbler. Size. Slightly larger and more robust in appearance than females, but the size difference was minimal. Behavior. During breeding season, males were more conspicuous, singing to defend territories and attract mates. Female Bachman's warbler. Plumage. Duller and more subdued compared to males. Olive green back and wings, yellowish underparts but less vibrant than males. Lack the black cap and throat patch seen in males. Female Bachman's warbler. Size slightly smaller than males, but the difference was not significant. Behavior. Focused on nesting and brood care, less likely to sing or display territorial behavior. The breeding behavior of Bachman's warbler, Vermivora bachmani, was not extensively documented before its population plummeted. Habitat. Preferred swampy lowlands and bottomland forests, especially areas with dense vegetation like canebrakes. Diet, primarily insectivorous, feeding on small insects and spiders. Conservation status. There have been no confirmed sightings since the 1980s, despite occasional reported observations. Intensive surveys in the 21st century have not yielded evidence of surviving populations. Yellow rail. The yellow rail, Ecoturnicops narboricensis, is a small, secretive bird that thrives in marshy wetlands across North America. Known for its soft yellow plumage, streaked with intricate patterns of black and white, this bird is as beautiful as it is elusive. Its distinctive click-click-click call, often heard at night, is one of the few ways bird enthusiasts can locate it amidst dense vegetation. Although rarely seen, the yellow rail plays a vital role in its ecosystem, highlighting the importance of wetland conservation for sustaining biodiversity. Size, about 15 to 19 centimeters, 6 to 7.5 inches in length. Behavior. Diet, primarily insectivorous. They also eat seeds and small aquatic invertebrates. Movement, typically runs or walks through dense vegetation, rarely flying unless disturbed. Breeding, builds a well-hidden nest on the ground, laying 6 to 10 eggs. Habitat, the yellow rail prefers shallow, freshwater marshes and wet meadows with dense vegetation, often dominated by sedges and grasses. They are most commonly found in Canada, in parts of the northern United States during the breeding season, and migrate to the southern U.S. and Gulf Coast for the winter. Physical appearance. Male. Maybe slightly brighter in color, though this is difficult to discern in the field. During the breeding season, males are usually the ones vocalizing their distinctive clicking call. Physical appearance. Female. Slightly duller in tone, though this is not always apparent. Females are primarily responsible for incubating eggs and caring for chicks. Conservation status. The yellow rail is considered near threatened in some areas due to habitat loss from wetland drainage and agricultural development. Conservation efforts focus on preserving and managing wetland habitats. Fun fact, despite their elusive nature, yellow rails are often detected during specialized bird surveys using playback calls to elicit a response from the birds. Sprague's pipit. Sprague's pipit, Anthus spraguei, is a small, elusive songbird that embodies the spirit of North America's vast grasslands. Renowned for its ethereal, high-pitched song delivered from astonishing heights, this bird is a true symbol of the prairie ecosystem. Though its plain, streaked plumage may make it hard to spot, its remarkable aerial displays and melodious calls set it apart. Sadly, this prairie specialist faces significant threats due to habitat loss, making it a focal species for grassland conservation efforts. Behavior. Flight displays. The bird is renowned for its elaborate flight songs performed by males during the breeding season. They fly high into the sky, singing a delicate and melodic song to attract mates and establish territory. Foraging. Feeds on insects and seeds, often foraging on the ground in a stealthy manner. Breeding nest. The nest is built on the ground, hidden among tall grasses, and is cup-shaped, often lined with fine grasses. Eggs. Lays 3 to 6 eggs, which are pale and speckled. Male Sprague's pipit. The male's plumage is slightly more vibrant and contrasting than the female's. He has a more pronounced streaking pattern on his chest and sides. During the breeding season, males may appear a bit more striking, with more defined marking. Female. The female tends to have a more muted, less distinct streaking pattern on her chest and sides compared to the male. Her overall coloration is somewhat softer, blending in more with the background of the prairie. Range. Found primarily in the northern Great Plains, including parts of Canada, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and the United States, North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana. It migrates to the southern U.S. and northern Mexico during the winter. Conservation status. Threatened. The species is listed as vulnerable due to habitat loss caused by agricultural expansion, overgrazing, and the decline of native prairie ecosystems. Conservation efforts focus on preserving and restoring native grasslands. Red cockaded woodpecker. The red cockaded woodpecker, Picoides borealis, is a small endangered species of woodpecker found primarily in the southeastern United States. It's known for its distinctive black and white plumage, with a white cheek patch and a small cockade of red feathers on the sides of its head, hence the name red cockaded. These feathers are only visible in males and are a key feature for identification. Length, 8 to 9 inches, 20 to 23 centimeters. Wingspan, 16 to 18 inches, 41 to 46 centimeters. Weight, 2.0 to 3.0 ounces, 56 to 85 grams. Male red cockaded woodpecker. Red cockade. The most distinguishing feature of the male is the presence of a small patch of red feathers on the sides of the head, just behind the eye. This is the cockade that gives the bird its name. The red patch is only visible in males. Female red cockaded woodpecker. No red cockade. Female red cockaded woodpeckers do not have the red feathers on their heads. Instead, their heads are entirely white with a black cap. Habitat. They typically live in mature pine forests, especially longleaf pines. They prefer old-growth forests because these provide the dead, decaying trees, snags they need for nesting. Nesting. Unlike other woodpeckers, the red cockaded woodpecker drills into living pines to create cavities for nesting. The tree must be mature enough to have the proper softwood for excavation. Diet. Their diet mainly consists of insects, such as ants, beetles, and other small arthropods that live on the trunks and branches of trees. Behavior. These woodpeckers are social, often living in family groups. The male and female work together to excavate cavities, and other family members may assist in raising the young. Conservation. The species has been severely impacted by habitat loss due to logging and fire suppression. Conservation efforts, including habitat restoration and reintroductions, are critical to their survival. Black-capped vireo. The black-capped vireo, Vireo atricapilla, is a small migratory songbird native to the southwestern United States, primarily found in parts of Texas and Oklahoma. This bird is known for its distinctive black cap, which contrasts with its light-colored underparts. The black-capped vireo has a relatively short, stout beak and a slightly round shape. Length: the black-capped vireo is a small bird, measuring approximately 4.5 to 5 inches, 11.5 to 13 centimeters in length. Wingspan: it has a wingspan of around 7.5 inches, 19 centimeters. Weight: typically weighs between 0.3 to 0.4 ounces, 8 to 11 grams. Appearance: the male has a dark black cap, a white eye ring, and a pale underbelly. Females and younger birds are similar, but with less pronounced black coloring. They also have olive green upperparts. Habitat: they prefer shrubby, rocky hillsides or oak and juniper woodlands, often in areas with dense underbrush. Diet: their diet mainly consists of insects like caterpillars, beetles, and ants, and they may also eat some berries. Behavior: these vireos are generally solitary or found in pairs during the breeding season. They are known for their melodious songs, often heard during dawn and dusk. Migration: this species is migratory, moving to Mexico and Central America during the winter months and returning to the U.S. to breed in the spring. Conservation status: the black-capped vireo was once considered endangered due to habitat loss and degradation. However, through conservation efforts and habitat restoration, their numbers have been improving, and they have been removed from the endangered species list in some areas.
Create melody that brings life to forests, gardens, and